I originally called you because we were having controversy about how to start a fire, and we were talking about, is it better to do a teepee or is it better to do Lincoln logs? So Matt, can you answer that question for us?
So I can try, and the answer is it depends. There's certainly a lot of preference in whatever people want to do, but there's also some logical decisions to be made about what you're doing as well. So 3 main components to starting a fire are tinder, kindling, and fuel. And so the tinder is the smallest stuff. If you're out in the middle of the woods, perhaps it's pine needles, or here in northeastern Nevada, dry grasses. That would be your tinder. And then really small, smaller than your pinky size, smaller than finger size would be your kindling. And then wrist size would be fuel. And so in Scouts and Boy Scouts of America, we want to make sure that there's leave no trace. So you want to make sure you have a fire ring, or perhaps you build up an earthen platform, and then you build your fire there. Now, if you have really wet wood, then a log cabin style, where you have your cross, your Lincoln log ties, that's right. That's usually better, because as the fire's burning, it will also help to dry out the wood.
Okay.
If you're in an area that has a lot of little kindling, then oftentimes a teepee style or even a lean-to style will work best. And so I think we all kind of know the teepee style. Put in a whole bunch of little sticks and have your tinder in the middle.
Right.
The difference is that, and one of the things my father taught me was, if it's a small fire, if you don't have a lot of resources, you start with a teepee, and then you add to it. But with the teepee, you don't want to add fuel in until the fire is burning bright.
Okay.
Because otherwise it crushes it, it smothers it. Whereas with a log cabin, you actually build fuel into it as you're building it up. And that helps to, again, dry that fuel, so it keeps the fire going. In a lean-to style, you take a log or a rock perhaps, and whichever way the wind's blowing, you build the high end there. So if this is my log, I'll do it here, and if the wind's blowing this way, then I'll put my sticks lined up this way on my kindling, and so I'll have my tinder in the middle. I don't know if you can see that at home. So tinder in the middle, and then lean my sticks up, and then you light the tinder, and that catches. And again, it's for if you have smaller kindling, smaller resources.
So it all depends on what you're into at the moment, how you want to, what technique is the best.
Exactly. And it also depends on what you have as far as how you're going to light the fire. So a lot of us, a lighter or matches.
There's my paper towels.
Right. But if you're out in the woods, we teach the youth, flint and steel is one of the big parts. And with flint and steel, you have your tinder, and you actually, you continue to strike against the steel until you get an ember, and then you actually pick up your nest and you hold it in your hands and you blow on it. So if you're blowing on it to get it going, you can't then put that into a lean-to very easily. So it might be easier on that point to have put it on the ground and then build a teepee around it while it's starting to catch. Or to have a log cabin ready to go, and then you put it on the top and it'll kind of burn from there. Log cabin also works really well if the ground itself is wet.
Oh, really?
Because then it raises it up off of the ground, and it's a little bit easier there. So there's some non-official scout techniques of how you can do it. Magnifying glass would work well for a teepee style, not so well for a log cabin, just because of again, trying to get the right angle. You have to dodge around the Lincoln logs if you've built your cabin up. 9-volt battery and steel wool is really cool. That would be, again, kind of like your nest if you did flint and steel. 9-volt battery and steel wool. You touch the 9-volt battery to the steel wool, and it has to be fine. You can't just stick it to a Brillo pad. But yeah, you kind of pull it apart, and then it catches, and then you kind of drop it in, and it catches pretty good. And then really old-fashioned would be bow and spindle.
I was waiting for
that. Or to have just the stick and you rub it down. The bow makes it a lot easier on the spindle,
Right.
but again, you're going to have your nest of your tinder there at the bottom to let it catch, and then transfer that usually over.
Now, have you done all those techniques?
I have not.
Okay.
I've never used a magnifying glass. My father was a fireman, and I knew that if I ever started a fire, I would get my tan, my high tan really quick. So I never played with magnifying glasses, and I've not done it out on a scout trip. And I've tried the rubbing, the sticks, but I've never used the actual bow with the spindle. And I'm too lazy and honestly too soft, so I give up after a while. If I need to, if it's a survival situation, I feel comfortable that I could start it if that was all I had, but I would probably use other sources first.
All right, good to know. Well, thanks, Matt. I appreciate you taking some time to talk to me.
Thank you, and thank you for watching.
And Matt, if my children or I wanted to become a part of the Boy Scouts, how would I get in touch with you?
Absolutely. The best way to reach me is through my cellular phone at 775-934-2892. And in northeastern Nevada, I can give you directions to just about anywhere you want to go with Boy Scouts. So I'm happy to help with that.
Perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for this interview. I appreciate your time. It means a lot to me. Thanks for tuning in again. Cheryl Henning with Century 21 Gold West Realty, your park bench rep here in Elko and Spring Creek, Nevada. And if you're interested in your company business doing an interview with me, see down below there's a tab that says Interview My Business. Just click on there and put in your info. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
care.
And be kind.